Well, good morning, scholars. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, this is my insights for this week, and I'm just going to briefly go over a couple of articles that I saw that I thought were interesting that relates to our topic this week, which is developing the board. And the first one is from a magazine called Nonprofit World. And the title of the argument is Create a Diverse Board, Move from Intention to Action. And it shares some statistics about the number of people of color that are on nonprofit boards. And I think these are like not big nonprofit organizations. Um, Not like, I hate to say it this way, but kind of the small ones that you and I may see within our communities, but maybe some larger ones. But it said that the percentage of people of color in nonprofit boards has remained under 20% for the past 15 years. So they're saying that, you know, um, regardless of the nature of the nonprofit itself, that the board members typically are predominantly Caucasian. And of course, we can see where the problem with that is because a board should reflect the community that it is serving, as well as have other diverse people on it. And so there's a problem with that. And the author gave a number of things that they felt that you could do or that nonprofits could do to increase the diversity. And they said that most of the nonprofits, they acknowledge that diversity is beneficial um, for boards, but they just don't put, and they say they intend to make the boards more diverse, but they have a difficult time putting that intention to action. And one of the things they were saying that that the belief that diversity is necessary is not enough, that you need to do something. And so some of the things they recommended was having the board read books about race in America, then come together to discuss topics raised through the reading, undergo diversity training with a consultant, ensure that board meeting times and locations don't create a burden for board members without flexible jobs, create a strategic plan and document the goals that include an increase in diversity and inclusion, and hold board retreat with diversity as the main topic. And I think all of these things are good. Now, I also think that the shoe can be on the other foot, and that if you have a nonprofit and everybody on the nonprofit is a minority, are you kind of overlooking some knowledge, skills, and abilities that a non-minority might be able to bring to the table? And so it goes both ways. The diversity is needed, whether it is a small nonprofit that is serving in a predominantly black area. Uh, there's some benefit in having somebody on it who is not of that ethnicity, but may have a skill that is necessary that current board members do not have. I worked on a board for, it was an organization called, um, now my mind is drawing a blank, but the purpose of the organization was to provide a house for families that have court appointed visits. The friend of mine founded this nonprofit, and she works in child advocacy and through the court system. And one of the things she noticed, Family Bridge, that was the name of the organization. One of the things that she noticed was that for these families that had court appointed family visitations, more often than not, they were held in places like McDonald's, something like that, not in a home environment. And she felt that it was important for home, family visitations to take place in a home-like environment. And so she found a house that she could use for that purpose. And it had, of course, like any other home, multiple rooms. She had games. And so when the families could come and they would, sign up, make a reservation to hold their visit in the house. And they could do things like play games, go in the backyard and play on the swing set, but do some more home like activities as part of the visitation. And so she started a nonprofit for that reason. Well, the nonprofit, now, the community it served was definitely a primarily Black community, but the board had um, male and female, it had um, people of different ethnicities, people with different talents and skills, and unlike the one organization that I talked about in week one that really just wanted me for fundraising and they wanted all the board members for fundraising, that really wasn't a need for this board. They had a house. It was given to them. And so they really didn't need funds per se, but they needed help with other things. And one of the authors that we discussed talks about there's different types of boards. And so we were the type of board that just came and helped with decision making. When my friend and her partner, business partner, for this nonprofit, when they had decisions that needed to be made and they wanted more, more thought given to it than the two of them would have because they were so close to the situation. They both worked in child advocacy. They would bring us together to help in decision making. And then one of the things that I did was I did training for them, training in nonprofit board governance using the material that I have here from Mercer. So, but the point is, relative to this week, is that the board had diverse members. They had male and female. It had Caucasians, um, blacks from different, like blacks from Jamaica, and as well as blacks here from born here in the United States. But there was a diversity in the population of the board, and it was really helpful. Um, and so I definitely agree with this article by Molly Greenan from Nonprofit World. It was published in 2020 that, a board needs to be diverse. Now, I don't know if I shared with you, it's probably in my bio, I'm a Red Cross volunteer. I work at blood drives, but I also have an administrative position with the Red Cross where we use the term on board. I approve people to approve volunteers to work, and I schedule them to work at their first blood drive. And so I'm always interested in the Red Cross, which of course is a nonprofit organization. So this morning I looked up the board and I saw that there's 13 board members and only two uh, are minority. There's a Black female and a Black male. And, I would think that, an organization of that ilk would have some more Black uh, or non-minority, I'll put it that way. Or no, I mean more minority, maybe not necessarily people of color, but more minority members of the board. Um, and so that might be something the Red Cross will want, to look at. Okay, and so the next article is on recruiting and engaging high quality board members. And this article was written by Jeff Jowdy, and it's in Nonprofit Pro, is the name of the magazine. And it was published in January 2021. Um, and it's basically giving some information on, how to recruit the best people for your board. And I'm actually just going to read some of the things it says. It says the first step is an honest analysis of your board development program. And it includes the following: the role and function of the board uh, through bylaws, job description, and documents, your board composition, how your meetings are run. Um, Says keep in mind prospective and aspirational board members. Um, Says engage your top 10 to 20 candidates so that they readily accept when you extend the invitation. So they're saying you need to court the people that you want to be on your board. Um, Says develop procedures for identifying and vetting prospective board members and seek nominations from current and former members, and staff. And I think that identifying and vetting prospective members is definitely something that's needed. But at the same time, you need to be realistic about what it is you want these individuals to do. Like to unlike the one organization who really wanted me uh, to assist with fundraising, and no one ever bothered to ask me, is that something I'd be interested in doing or finding out if I had a background in that. It says establishing your onboarding program from orientation to resources. Um, and so that's necessary as well. I should have known from the orientation in that organization that fundraising was my primary responsibility. I should not have had to reach that conclusion just based on meeting after meeting after meeting where all we discussed was fundraising, but that should have been stated front and center. um, and it wasn't. So have ongoing education and support. Uh, and then they say, here are some tips. It says, match member skills and interests with your organization's needs. And so, the organization should decide, well, what are the skills that we need? What's the knowledge that we need for our board members to have? And then go out and seek people that bring those skills or that knowledge to the board. Here we go. Says keep them motivated by giving them a personal connection with the mission. And like I said, and I think most people serve on the board because they do have some passion. There's a video we're looking at, I think it's this week, where they're saying passion is not enough, and it certainly isn't. But I think you do have to have, board members do have to have some level of passion for the work of the nonprofit. What's some other things it says? Show appreciation through recognition, like thank you notes, cards on special occasions. Um, Says make it fun, and I think that might be important, particularly for I think smaller nonprofits. I don't think people get on the board of the Red Cross to have fun, but I think in some of the other smaller nonprofits, for the smaller organizations, I think that is a necessary thing to do. Make it like I said, make it a delightful experience. And so I think, a board experience, you should bring something to it in terms of your knowledges and your skills and ability. You should get something from it. Like I said, some joy, some satisfaction, meeting new people, being exposed to new things. You can, get on the board to learn something new yourself. Was there anything else on here? And they ended by saying high caliber board members are in increasingly high demand. To ensure that the relationship is mutually beneficial, provide a rewarding experience that shows your deep appreciation for members, nurtures their innate talents, open doors for them personally and professionally, and give them a chance to shine. And so when we look at these two articles, we know that number one, boards need to be diverse. And that's whether the board is serving in a predominantly black community or Hispanic or, Jewish, whatever, or, it's serving the population as a whole. The diversity is needed. We need different ways of thinking, and like our multiple ways of thinking and multiple talents and skills and multiple perspectives in order to bring the best, um, support to that nonprofit organization. And then how we recruit uh, people to be on the board is important. And there should be, some definite thought and strategy should be given to that. So those are my insights for this week. And if you have any feedback, feel free to share it. Bye bye.